Welcome, everyone, to the Fireside Football Chat, episode 14. Keep climbing, Jay.
That just keeps motoring.
That's
it's a beautiful
right.
thing.
It's the holiday season.
It's the holidays,
That's
huh?
right. Then whoop-de-doo, right?
Indeed.
That's right. Well, Jay, I don't say this to toot my own horn because it's few and far between, but it's probably the biggest margin of victory picking a game ever.
Here we go.
Ever in that I can remember. I was worried, if you remember, I was worried about that hook in the Indiana game.
I know.
Winning by 28, that hook coming in and hook. But guess what? That was snooze it, put your head on the pillow.
Good evening.
Absolutely. And it was great. I'm like, it was to the point where, I was vested in it, but I'm like, I can't watch this game anymore. And that's when I went over to the real game.
That's right. You did go over to the real game, didn't you?
That's right.
Big time.
What happened? What did you see there, Jay?
Well, you know what? I had, so remember I had to pivot last week in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Because of when it was going to go out. And I did initially have Dallas -3.5 at home against the Giants. I think they ended up pulling that out. They won by, what, 6 or 7?
They did.
But I pivoted to the Seahawks, -1.5 at the Jets. And quite honestly, I didn't feel real good about that initially, down 14-0. But the Jets did Jets things, right? They end up crapping the bed, get the cover, and it ended up working out. I had Vanderbilt +11 at home against Tennessee. That was a loss. Congratulations to Tennessee. They did what they needed to do. And then Texas A&M getting 5.5 at home against Texas. Texas A&M first and goal from the 3. And I hate to say it, I hate to do this, but I'm going to say it. They pulled a Nittany Lions.
Wow.
That's right, they did. They ran 3 times up the middle against the Texas defense, which is, that's the vaunted section of their defense. Stopped them on all 3 tries, and they pulled one more rabbit out of the hat, and it didn't work. Did not score. They were down 17-7 at the time. I think there was 3 and change left on the clock. If they score there, again, big if, right? But if they score there, they close the gap, most likely to a 3-point game. And at that point, even if they, for whatever reason, went for 2 and didn't get it, it's a 4-point game. Probably Texas moves down and kneels on the football or gets a first down or 2, or they get the ball back. But regardless, that there is gambling, my friends. We all got our stories.
It's part of the process.
But anyhow, lost that one. And then thankfully, Syracuse +10.5 at home against Miami. They got the outright win and probably doused Miami's chances of making the playoff.
Yeah.
Brutal.
They have them a little better.
So that was my week last week.
I got to ask you something, though, about this whole Kansas City thing.
Oh, boy.
Like, they're 11-1, and I heard someone say that I didn't even know she was into football. She said, along the lines that Kansas City's the worst 11-1 team that she's seen. Like, they're not bad, obviously, but why do they keep rolling these double digits out? And they've only beaten people over 7 points or 6 points a few times, but it's like, what are they trying to do? They're trying to entice us like me to take them, or is it too easy to take the big points?
I think, and it goes back to a movie from years ago called Snatch.
Yeah, we're back to Snatch.
One of the lines, "You are skating on thin ice, my friend, and I shall be underneath of it when it breaks." And that breaking point, it might be coming.
No, I hear you, because I just think, I just think Buffalo and the Eagles, I think, as they're not, at this point of the season, are the 2 best teams. With the Eagles, I don't. But I just wanted to ask you, because that Kansas City thing just makes
so
me...
close. Right? Multiple games so close. It's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
How did they not slaughter that team?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I took all the points.
I know.
So with that being said, Jay, I'm going to give you my fun fact before I give you my pick. And that fun fact is around what we do right now. The largest point spread in NFL history. What do you think that is, or was, or if you get this right, you're going to...
In the NFL.
In the NFL. which your tomato cans should be limited, and you're not playing the Sisters of the Poor, and you know what I mean, or college or high school.
I mean, just because this is a fun fact, 28.5.
Well, you're close. You're actually close. But the largest spread in NFL history was Denver minus 26.5 versus the Jags in 2013.
My God.
And guess what? The Jags covered.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't want to really get into talked about it, but I did see something along the lines of since 1987 there was a bunch of games with 20 plus spreads and only 2 of them covered, meaning the favorite. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things where they get those points up. Just saying. That's just saying there.
Interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, exactly. And we might touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
However,
we might circle back, folks.
You know, we're talking points here. But
pieces? What? Pounds, baby, pounds. We're talking points.
So we're going to go for the college pick.
Okay, what do we got?
I'm going back to my trend.
Hey, trends have worked.
Tulane.
Oh, you're going with the Green Wave.
They're visiting West Point.
Oh, you're talking about the Green Wave.
Number 24, Army. However, and they're playing in West Point, like I said, Tulane.
Army training, sir.
That's right. That's right. And Tulane is giving Army 5 points.
Interesting. Tulane just come off a loss. They just come off a loss to
They're not in the top. I mean, they're close.
No.
They're you know, some people fell aside, but they're still not in the top 25. Army's at home. You would think out of any home field advantage, I mean, on the surface, you would think West Point would be very intimidating. But they're giving 5 points, so I'm going with Tulane.
You're going with Tulane.
Tulane.
That's how they say it down there, Tulane.
Tulane. So,
okay.
So, you know what? I'm going to remember this time.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to remember.
He's going to involve the magic 8 ball this time. Massage that son of a gun.
I ate my Wheaties and did my jumping jacks today. I remembered. Tulane visiting West Point, giving Army 5. They play for the name on the front, not the name on the back.
You're not lying.
So what do you think, Jay?
What do you got?
It says, oh, jeez. Something hazy. That was a new one. Something hazy.
Hazy shade of winter.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm going to try this again. My sources say no. Good. I like when you go against me.
We've been on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care. So tell me who you're looking at there this week, Jay.
Well, this week we have a limited number of college games. So I'm going to pick 2 college games this week instead of my normal 3.
Not feeling frisky, huh?
Well, but I do like these 2, I got to tell you. I do like them.
I hope so.
And the lower numbers seem to work out for me this year, just on the other side in the NFL.
I hear you.
Anyhow, I'm going to start with SMU minus 2.5 against Clemson. Okay, the SMU, the Mustangs are on fire right now. You have to go all the way back to September 6th to find their last loss, suffering their only setback of the season to BYU, 18-15. That's it. 1 loss, 18-15, BYU. This Mustangs team, I'm telling you, they are balanced, and that's what makes them dangerous. They can score in bunches, averaging almost 41 points a game, and have only surrendered 13 points in their last 2 games combined against Virginia and Cal. The offense is led by sophomore quarterback Kevin Jennings, who's thrown for 2,476 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Senior Bouchard Smith leads the rushing attack with 1,150 yards on the ground, 14 touchdowns, and averaging a whopping 6 yards per carry. Oh, give it to him twice, first down. Give it to him twice, first down. I like those numbers. Roderick Daniels Jr. and Keyshawn Smith lead the way for the receiving corps with each right around 500 yards for the season. And I know some of you might be going, well, it's okay. It's not great.
5 and 5 is 10.
That is correct. But I did mention balance, did I not?
Okay.
Well, this receiving group brings to the table 8 pass catchers. 8, count them, Chip.
How do you rotate them?
Good question. 8 of them with 200 or more yards received. 250
Wow.
or more yards receiving. That's what I mean by balance.
That's impressive.
The Mustangs are outscoring their opponents by almost 20 points a game. Defensively, SMU is led by linebacker Kobe Wilson, whose 95 tackles is tops on the team. In addition, defensive ends Isaiah Smith and Jafari Harvey lead the way with 6.5 sacks each. With 3 losses on the season, the Clemson Tigers have pretty much backed their way in, right? I mean, Clemson lost to South Carolina,
Yep.
but backed their way into this game. Honestly, folks, this could get ugly. I'm just being honest with you. You may just have yourself another head on the pillow at halftime contest.
Calling that one.
Some of you are probably wondering, wait a minute, it's ACC championship, bro. What are you talking about here, head on the pillow? The line's 2.5. I just believe, and I've watched both of these teams multiple times, and I get it, things change. SMU is just that much, but they're a better football team. I know their record says it, but when you watch the team and the balance that they have on both sides of the ball, I think most of you would agree with me in that case. Doesn't guarantee anything.
It's the old-fashioned eye test, Jay.
The good old-fashioned eye test. So, folks, hammer SMU, giving 2.5 to the Rio and Clemson Tigers. Enjoy the fruits of your wagers. This should be, in my mind, an easy win and cover. But we all know that's why they play them. Next up, Boise State. At the time, it was -3.5. UNL versus UNLV, the Rebels. This game's for all the marbles in the Mountain West with a trip to the college football playoff awaiting the winner. Okay? Boise's 11-1, currently riding a 10-game win streak. And by the way, Chip, you know who that one blemish was? That one loss that they had? You know who that was to?
I do not.
How about the #1 ranked Oregon Ducks? Okay, Here we are, an absolute nail biter that took place, by the way, in Eugene. They lost by a score of 37-34, all the way back in week 2.
Wow.
Okay, again, their only loss. Season's flown by. Once again, fall disappears in a blink, and it's no surprise that the disappearing act coincides with college and pro football. Offensive juggernaut and all-world running back Ashton Jeanty leads the nation with 2,228 yards rushing, and count them, 28 tutties. But this Heisman candidate, and he is a lethal weapon on offense, and the Broncos will happily strap the saddle to his back in this contest, just as like they've ridden him to victories all season long. It's a rematch of a game earlier in the season where Boise State went on the road back on October 25th and beat UNLV 29-24. Difference now, Chip. This game, this championship game, this Mountain West championship game, okay, this game is being played on the vaunted blue turf at Albertson Stadium at Boise. Okay,
Wow.
They're at home. Should be a huge advantage.
Smart turf.
Yeah, huge advantage. And I know the Boise faithful, they're going to be out in droves to watch this.
You think
game
they're going to wear
Friday night.
blue?
Just made that. Blew it up, blue. For those of you watching at home, there'll be many eyeballs on this one as the only conference championship game being played on Friday night, with the Big Noon Crew hosting pregame at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by kickoff at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The Broncos, they defeated the Rebels earlier in the season, as I said, and I expect more of the same in the rematch. Ashton Jeanty will be too much for UNLV as the Boise State Broncos cruise to a double-digit victory. Okay?
Wow.
Making it, by the way, back-to-back Mountain West champs. Won it last year as well.
Back-to-back.
Against UNLV. Okay? But most importantly, this year, my friend, after they get that victory, they're going to be headed to not the first round, my friend. They get this win, okay? That's a bye.
Ah.
For those of you guys who out there who maybe aren't sure how that works, you've got 4 byes, okay? The top 4, the SEC champion and the Big Ten champion have that locked up. There's 2 more spaces for 3 champions, okay? You've got the Mountain West, you've got the ACC, and you've got the Big 12. So 2 of those 3 go. Well, if Boise wins, because they're ranked higher than, let me think, Boise is ranked higher than both of them, at least one of them for sure. That means they would automatically, if they win, they would be part of those 4 teams that would get a bye. Fun fact.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, gang, do yourself a favor, right? Swell that bank account and unload your pesos on the Boise State Broncos, giving 3.5 to the UNLV Rebels. As they've clearly forgotten, the Rebels that is, that this is not 1991, okay? And sadly, Jerry Kirkanian, Larry Johnson, Anderson Hunt, and Stacey Augman, they're not walking through that tunnel on Friday night. All
One
right.
of my favorite squads, let me tell you.
Great team.
A lot of fun.
Great team. Tons of fun to watch. By the way, champions that year, the Duke Blue Devils.
Yes.
Yes, they were.
Yep.
But anyhow, I think that you got to play the game. I just think they have their number. I really do, and I've watched this team as well. Boise State, tough team. If UNLV can't slow down the run, they're going to be cooked. I know they're going to sell out for that. They have to sell out for that. You're facing the top running back.
Yeah,
in the
right.
nation.
Absolutely.
But I still like the Broncos in this one, right? Giving 3.5 to the Rebels. Next up's my pro game. We got the Dolphins minus 6.5 against the Jets. Oh no! Well, Chip, it wasn't long ago we were talking about the Dolphins having trouble getting out of the driveway offensively. What if I told you that the Dolphins have averaged 27 points per game in their last 6 games? How's that grab you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even in their most recent game against the Packers on Thursday night, where they lost 30-17, Tua still threw the ball for 365 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad. The Jets, by the way, fresh off a heartbreaking loss to the Seahawks that we referenced earlier, letting them come back from 14 down. Aaron Rodgers, he had a shot to lead his Jets to victory, but once again he snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, laying there flat on his back, staring at the sky and dreaming of another ayahuasca adventure in the cool Arizona desert. Okay?
That's right.
With a 5-7 record, this game becomes a must-win for the Dolphins. Fortunately, they'll be doing so in the confines of Hard Rock Stadium, where it's going to be nice and toasty, not that cold up in Green Bay. The Jets, they have no chance at the playoffs. They're already looking at the end of the season. Rodgers has 1 foot out the door, and the team is completely deflated, as evidenced by their 3-9 record. In this case, I see the Dolphins coming out fast. They rank 3rd in the NFL with a 6.4 first quarter points per game, whereas the Jets rank 29th on the year, averaging 3.3 first quarter points per game on the road. Following the fast start, the Dolphins going to keep the foot on the neck, apply pressure, forcing the Jets to abandon the run game. At that point, we look at some of the guys from, let's see, we got some of the guys from Miami. Jalen Waddle, he's been starting to heat up. Ty Hill scored, I think, a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games, and those 2 should be pretty beneficial. That they should be beneficial contributors. And then, of course, Tua, as I talked about, he's been pretty hot lately, too. So give me the Dolphins, minus 6.5 at home over the lowly Jets. There's nothing in sight for the Jets, as they'll be home for the holidays, with football being the last thing on their mind. Okay, once again, this hapless front office ruins the Jets and any dreams they had of a good season. The ownership set this team up for failure, and it's the players that have to suffer the consequences.
I'm laughing for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, I believe we're going to hear about them.
Not really, just an add-on, that's all.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to my compadre Chip for the rest of our NFL selections.
I like it. I really do. I like the pick. I have 4 of them where obviously I'm going to pick 3. If there was a 5th one, because I was going to put it there as that game.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is too easy. They're a dumpster fire going into Miami. Miami just has to win by a touchdown. I love the 6.5 games. But for some reason, I can see Aaron Rodgers getting up. Oh, it's warm down here. I feel pretty good.
I feel all right.
And then start slinging it. I'm like, and that's going to be what makes the NFL make you pull your hair out.
It will.
I don't think it's going to happen. I didn't. I just looked at it and was too easy.
You know what was there? And you're right. And we've seen this all season long, right? We've seen this happen. Kind of the nail in the coffin stat for me, which I actually didn't mention. I'll get a chance to mention now. The Jets are 3-9. They are 3-9 against the spread this year as well. So they're not faring well against the spread. But Aaron Rodgers, I think, has, is it his last 3 or 4 games? 9 touchdowns. So, you take what you want from that. They can't seem to get it done in the clutch. They if it was where they were just constantly getting stomped, last week, for them to be up 14-0 and lose the game the way they did, that was another seal the deal for me. It's like, oh boy,
I agree on all points.
You're up 14-0 and you lose.
I agree on all
one thing
points.
If you're getting hammered from the beginning, but we'll see. It's why they play them.
Exactly. I agree on that. I just kept looking at them against too flipping easy.
And when it's too easy,
what?
There are times when there's a reason. They're trying to bait you. They're trying to get you. They got me. I may win. I may lose.
When I told you it was too easy, it didn't make me think the other side, because that's how I think. It did not, because I wasn't putting my money.
It's just too hard to do that with that organization and that team with those players. They just struggle and find different ways.
And they have talent. That's what gets me.
I know that. They do have talent.
That's what gets me. But
unable to win with talent makes me think there's something going on in that locker room, Chip. There's something going on in that locker room. But we'll see.
Starts with the AA round.
AA round.
That's right.
1 foot out the door.
All right, Jay. Couple insights here, but you know what's funny? I wanted to bring this up, and I didn't want to cut you off to your college thing, but for the first time, I usually don't do this because I didn't look into it. I'm not that gambler. I don't need the action.
Yep.
But if I was going to have an in-house bet wager last Friday, after Thanksgiving, things are chilled out.
Calming
I was
down.
watching the Colorado game, and my man Dion at halftime they went up 21-0.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden they got shut down in the second quarter. I mean, they got shut down. But they're up 21-0. Look like they're going to breeze right through. Up 21-0. I've watched Dion for a very long time. From college all the way into where he is now.
Yep.
I'm a fan. I'm a better fan when he's on my team and not opposing. However, Dion is Dion. He created his whole primetime thing. But for the first time, when they were interviewing him walking off the field, he said, basically, you wouldn't even know it was Dion. We're gonna take care of this. We're not coming out. Like, it was very serious and not hype. There was no hype involved. And I went, after a minute, I'm like, wow, can you imagine wagering that second? And guess what? They came out, foot on the gas, and didn't let up. And I'm like, that's the one to see what the second half would be. Because it was weird watching him say. It was just something I caught during the game, but he was like serious. Not like, hey, we're going to we're going to. He just said, yeah, I saw that, and we're just going to go out there. It's not going to happen the second half.
We're going to change
it was
this.
Like so definitive. I was like, boom. So anyway,
you're a future Cowboys coach. No big deal.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I want. I don't know if he wants that. But remember last week when I said that Joe Burrow was on fire?
Yes.
He's still on fire. His defense.
Maybe not so much.
Can you imagine, because the reason I bring that up again is because I had Cincinnati -3 against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
If you would have told me that Cincinnati was going to score 38 points I'd take them again.
Oh.
Figuring that it's going to be
38 points.
38-31, 38-34, but they were covered.
I'm taking almost anybody in the NFL.
Exactly. And Burrows leads in touchdowns and passing yards. He has Jamar Chase. He's lighting it up, and his defense can't stop anything.
That's got to be so deflating. I mean, where you're like, you don't want to say anything, but you get to the point where you're like, we got to talk, okay?
No, absolutely.
We got to talk. It's a problem.
Exactly, and I kind of stayed away from it because we do have a Mr. Monday Night that has to pick the game, and I kind of stayed away from it because, listen, Cowboys have 2 wins. They're playing better on defense.
They are.
So but looking at the game, and I'm like, so if they're playing better and they look like they got their guys back except for Lawrence, but are they going to be able to slow them down a little bit enough? Because if they have one of the worst defenses in the league, meaning Cincinnati, then Cowboys should be able to do so. Because Cooper Rush is getting more acclimated because he hasn't played in 2 years. Again, I'm not trying to pick the game.
No,
I just know that I feel bad for Joe Burrows. He's still on fire. He might be on fire this week, but man, the guy's lighting it up.
You're not
kidding. I feel bad for him because I like him.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding. Go back to Cowboys real quick. Like, the thing I couldn't believe, like, CeeDee Lamb, like, get him the freaking football. What's going on here,
I don't know. I don't know.
And you pay attention to them more than I do, but I have watched some of their games. Do you find that he's, like, cutting off his routes?
It's hard to tell from watching it straight on TV.
Yeah, I'd love to see that all 22 tape.
He's not that guy, though.
That's what multiple people have said.
Yeah,
that he's not really that guy.
He's the guy that, okay, you're paying me, I'm going to show you that I'm worth it.
I mean, he's a dog. Get him the football.
I think it's him and Rush aren't on the same page. I think that's just me. I don't know. It's hard. NFL's hard to begin with. We know that. And to sit there and
he's an elite receiver.
Elite. And if they run that what they call that jet sweep with him one more time, I'm going to lose it. It works once in a blue moon. I'm getting sick of it with him.
Table it.
I like it on other teams. It works again. It's not working because CD can run, but
time to put that in the treasure chest for a little while.
That's right. Ready to make some picks, Jack?
There we go.
All right. So I noticed something that we jumped on early, jumped off of, but the Bears. Thanksgiving game forced them to fire their head coach.
I think I know where you're going here. Go ahead, let you finish.
I really do. And they're going into San Fran this week. San Fran
MASH
taking on the chin. Well, you know.
You're talking about the MASH unit.
Yeah. I named
4077.
No, I got you. And it was good to see. But they're struggling with injuries and
big time.
Obviously, McCaffrey going down again.
San Fran's injuries are
their top 2
running backs
are on. Yeah. So but if you look at it though, the Bears have been playing some tight games and playing better. It looked like maybe the head coach was stalwarting some things or getting in the way where I think maybe they'll open a little bit. I don't know. I just think that, you know, San Fran going to Buffalo, unexpected storm. Everybody coming in, shovel for $20 an hour.
5 feet of snow.
Oh, but it was an interesting game.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just don't know if it's the season's like, it's over for San Fran, but it's just like, okay, we're just going to. So, you know, Bears are getting 4 points. They've been playing some good teams. I still consider San Fran a decent team, good team. Yep. They've been playing the good teams tight. And last week, Thanksgiving, they could have won that game. Or at least tied it and went in overtime.
Yeah, tied it for sure.
But when you get it, to me, when you get into the extra minutes, anything can happen. So they were right there, and then obviously the Hail Mary with my man on the side of the field and Tyson. But what I'm saying is there's a couple games that they were in, and I'm not, because they have talent too. So I'm just going to go with the Bears, thinking that they're going to win one for their new coach, because it seemed like everybody's accountable. This is what we're going to do. I think his message might be a little bit different, so I'm going with the Bears +4 at San Francisco this week, and we'll see what happens.
Let it be the Jeff Saturday effect. I don't know if you remember when big old Jeff come in to bail Indianapolis out, and he got a win. First one, and everyone was elated, and then things kind of settled from there. So I do agree with that idea of that when a team changes coaches, sometimes they really get behind that move.
They do, and plus they had a couple extra days rest, regroup, get acclimated.
For sure.
San Fran's probably still shivering from the snow. It's probably still in their shorts. But, I'm just looking
and
at...
deflated with losing top two running backs potentially.
And listen, the Bears have lost like 5
they
in a
have
row.
lost their top 2 running backs for this game.
Yeah, but they lost 5 in a row, Chicago. Is it going to be 6?
We're gonna buck the streak.
I'm not saying outright. I'm not saying outright.
Just have to cover.
Wouldn't surprise me, though.
Let's see what the good doctor says.
Okay.
Dr. 8.
Very doubtful.
Okay.
I love it. You're going against me twice, Mr. 8 Ball.
2 times.
All right. So, I'm probably going to have to go with my initial. They both have the same lines, but I got to pick one of the two because my third one is just, I'm not going away from it. It's more of a coin toss on these 2 extra games I have, my second game. And I'm going to go, because I went against them last week. I went against the Steelers. But they lost to Chicago in the snow, Jameis Winston. They lost to them. But now they're coming home, and they're giving the Browns 6.5 at home. Seems a little high for me.
A little high for your liking.
Exactly. And Jameis, man, I'll tell you one thing.
Famous Jameis.
He makes it interesting.
He does.
I used the reference the other night with the bags of seafood.
Hey, he was making it interesting years ago at that supermarket.
Yeah, 2 pick sixes. So with that being said,
yourself to some crab legs.
I like where Pittsburgh's doing. They're playing well, steady Eddie. Again, Russell Wilson over 400 yards, 44 points. Come on. But anyway, I'm still going to go with you anyway because I don't think that it's 2 quick games, because they only played them a couple weeks ago, that they're going to come back and 6.5 to me, that's a lot. So I'm going Steelers, minus 6.5.
All right.
Against the Browns.
The Browns. Bad helmet.
I'm not going to make it. It says ask again later. I know my hands aren't cold, but we're going to ask. Outlook not so good. I like the
3
trend.
times.
I love it.
Boy, this could be a real good week for you, my friend.
Well, I just think that, I'm better than Mr. 8 Ball.
That's right.
Who even knows what's
him
inside?
Mr. See, that's how much he doesn't like him. It's a Dr. 8, but he called him Mr. Deserve that degree. It's a faux degree.
I hear you. The leading rusher in the NFL. You know who he is.
Yes, I do.
You know he's also the 4th leading rusher in the NFL just by his second half yards? No. So Saquon's got 1,499 total yards. He also has 982 second yards, which qualifies him the 4th best running back in the NFL. Is that crazy or what? His second half yards.
That's insane.
He's number 4. That's how much of his season. It's impressive. I'm glad that we have.
What a second half guy. Oh, that's trouble for teams.
Well, that's what I mean. So, we're going with eye tests here. Now, I'm going with another team that we jumped on, and they proved us wrong. Carolina Panthers are visiting the Link this week, and they're playing better. They're even saying Bryce Young is starting to look like a quarterback. Not saying he's there. He's starting to look like a quarterback.
Fair.
And people insinuate that because I'm a Cowboys fan and a diehard fan, that I hate my local team and want to bury them. But that's not the truth. I just don't root for them because they're in the same division. I don't hate them. I love my Eagles brethren to win. And I just think with the eye test, because I do watch every Eagles game, and it goes back to my fun fact. Denver minus 26.5. Should it be that way? No. I just don't think that they're could make this high enough. I just think the eye test if the Eagles don't cover the 12.5 at home against Carolina the way they're playing, because I think right now you're going to hear it. I said right now we still have a few games left. Things can change.
Yep,
I think
for
the Eagles are. I don't think that they've peaked, but I think that they're their best team in NFL right now. I mean, Buffalo's a very close second. I won't want to play them, but they're in the AFC.
Yep.
I think the Eagles are that good. There's no way, paying attention to the NFL, looking at what we do, and obviously the home team, that the Eagles do not cover 12.5. I can't see it. Unless the Sulkies are out.
The Sulkies are out. That's right. They're
Get
out.
that phone call. Pull back a little bit. Because you know every Eagle fan that gambles.
Give me the 4-horse at Aqueduct.
Exactly.
With the purple sash.
That's right. And I just think that there's no way, even though Carolina's playing better, I like, what is his name, Canale. He came from Tampa. He's the head coach. Finally, I think he's got some mojo going with Bryce Young. They're playing better, like I said, but I just can't see it happening.
Listen.
They helped Baltimore to how much? Baltimore is arguably the second best team in the AFC.
Barkley might have 100 yards rushing in the third quarter, and then they sit him down. It could be like that. I'm spitting the truth here, my friend. The triple truth. I don't think they would sit him because he wants to chase a record. He wants to get Dickerson's record probably, but let's just say that it could be massive yards for him in the second half.
28-14 covers. It's not a blowout. I mean, it would. I think it's going to be more than that.
I think you're going to see a lot of Barkley in the second half.
I would think that Vic Fangio is going to have something for Bryce Young that he's never seen before, because he's doing some great things.
And that defense of the Eagles. To me, that's the surprise of the season.
Everything.
Because I was ready to write that. I remember the beginning of the year, and I'm like, here we go again.
Well, it's almost
same old story.
Absolutely.
My God, did they turn it around?
No, absolutely. And here's another thing that none of us think about, because I'm not trying to bring up the Cowboys again, but obviously I know. But you brought Mike Zimmer back, and I was like, oh, we passed him baton from before, and all of a sudden we're going. I think we might be a little bit better, because he's going to do some things with some of the guys that. Why am I thinking this Dan? Why can't I think of his name? The DC. He's the head coach for.
Which team?
For Commanders, the Redskins. Atlanta's head coach went to Dallas.
Yeah,
why can't I think of it? Oh my
about.
God, blank. Sorry. Anyway, I just think that they were going to tweak it and do some things, and maybe our defense, because there's a lot of talent. I'm not saying they're there, but with Michael Parsons coming back, they're learning that new scheme, getting better, and I think that it took a while for Vic Fangio with the new draft picks, because I do like what they're doing.
Those young studs.
The way they adjust and when Cooper DeJean came up and stood up there and said, "Boom, sit down."
Hey, later wood.
They're there, and I like Vic Fangio too. So I'm going to go with the Eagles minus 12.5 against the visiting Panthers, because I don't think you might show a little flash here and there.
Is that a 1:00 game?
It's a 1:00 game. It's a 1:00 game. So that's what I'm going to go with.
All right.
And we'll go from there.
Dr. 8, what do you say?
It says.
What do we got?
Yes, definitely.
Oh.
Oh, well, you're going to agree with me on that?
Favorable response, huh?
Yeah, hey, give me what you want.
It don't matter.
So.
It's only a ball.
One thing I want to say out there before I pass it on to Mr. Monday Night, I have to vet this, and hopefully I'll come back to it next week, but I saw this thing that there are no laws to prohibit sports leagues from fixing their own games for increased revenue or any other purpose.
No law.
I saw that, and I was like,
man, I've had multiple people.
With watching everything that's going on with their current sponsors?
I've had multiple people say to me, now some people have said to me that it's been fixed for years.
It's been...
I don't know. Listen,
too many people
I have
involved.
no idea. No idea. Honest to God, I have no idea.
I have to vet that a little bit.
Good.
But so we'll see what happens. But with the sponsors involved and the way it is, so that's not a detractor for me, because we'll just figure out what they're doing.
Sure.
Because if they're going to control, we just have to,
You need to be one step ahead of them.
Exactly.
Not easy, but that's what you got to be.
You need that black book to go, okay,
Whoa,
really? You're going to do this. So,
oh, really?
Here we go. Let's see what Mr. Monday Night has this week. What do you
Mr.
think?
Monday Night, where you at?
That's right.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to the new Mr. Monday Night, brought to you exclusively by the Fireside Football Chat. This Monday night, we have the 4-8 Cincinnati Bengals at the 5-7 Dallas Cowboys. Right now, the line is Bengals -5. Folks, I got to tell you, this would not be a game that I have on my card for the week, but guess what? Mr. Monday Night doesn't get to pick his games. It goes right along the title of Mr. Monday Night. So here we go. What can you say about this game? It's two teams going nowhere. They're both mathematically alive for the playoffs, but let's be honest. We're not going to see the Bengals or the Cowboys in the playoffs. So Cincinnati's lost 3 straight, 4 out of their last 5. They can't stop anybody. Cowboys, well, they've won 2 straight, albeit against the Giants and the Commanders. I'm going to hold my nose. I'm going to take the Cowboys +5 at home. That's the best I can come up with, folks. Take the points. Take the home team. Cincinnati's terrible. For a bonus bet, I'd go over the 49.5 for the game total. Again, Cincinnati can't stop anybody. And they score a lot of points, too. So I'm taking the Cowboys +5. And as a bonus, I'm going over 49.5. We'll see you at the window.
Well, Jay, episode 14 in the books. More facts, more fun.
Oh, man. I marvel at the fact that we just keep
Moving
boom,
it. We got what?
Boom, boom.
3-4 more games left? Where are we at here? Because I always get mixed with the bye. We're at 14, whatever. We'll come back, and then
Is
we'll
it
probably...
17 weeks?
It's 17 games, or no, it's 17 games, 18 weeks. So we should have 4 more left because it's 17 games with the bye, so that makes 18.
All right.
So we'll have 4 more games, plus we're already talking about maybe doing an end of the year little fireside chat.
Little extravaganza. That's right.
Take his hat off and show his pretty face in front of everybody. Right. And maybe Mr. Monday Night, we might put a hat on him, but we'll bring in
maybe Mr. Monday Night will show up. We'd like to see that. But we've got plans for a potential end of the season extravaganza.
Exactly.
You don't want to miss that one, folks.
That's right.
But we still got a few more weeks for that.
Exactly. So who knows? But once again, thanks for coming.